Hey everybody. Okay. Hey everyone. This is Michelle Wedderburn. I am back for Wind Down Wednesday. Sometimes I forget to say that, but I am back for Wind Down Wednesday here in San Miguel de Allende, which is located in central Mexico, the state of Guanajuato. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. If you happened upon it and you just did a search and I popped up, great. Welcome once again. I am here to continue creating soft landing experiences for anyone interested in visiting Mexico, this part of Mexico in particular, or moving, relocating to Mexico, learning more about San Miguel, learning more about the surrounding cities like Querétaro, or anything in terms of this radius of places to choose to be and live. I don't specialize in areas outside of San Miguel, but the general information for Mexico is going to cover you, right? So welcome. I have lived here for over 6 years, and I currently am basically an owner of CasaELM. And CasaELM provides soft landing experiences, relocation information, tours, in-person, online, virtual things. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but tonight's topic is going to be about starting a business, a brick and mortar type business in Mexico. So if you are here and you are in the chat, please get in there and let us know where you are checking in from. We have changed our time, so I really hope that people caught up with that, that we're now 1 hour behind you, and probably we should have advertised that we're not 2 hours behind, and I say you meaning the East Coast of the United States. So it's actually 7:03 for you all, and it's 6:03 for us. And these are the kind of transitional times of the year where it becomes a little bit confusing about when we're on, when we're not on. But we're gonna just kind of plug away with our topic, and I'll make sure that for next week's live, we kind of list out the times so that people understand that we're now back 1 hour in relation to the United States and the East Coast, that we're only 1 hour behind. We're now in alignment with central United States, and we're now 2 hours ahead of Pacific. So it is what it is, right? Mexico doesn't change. So as I said, if you're in the chat, let me know, and let me know that you can hear me. I know it's a lot to digest in terms of the time zones, but I do want to just kind of put that out there. Some of you probably will be catching this on the replay, which is perfectly fine. So what I wanted to talk about tonight is a variety of things. First off, though, I want to do a normal housekeeping, okay? And let's see here. I am going to add something that I didn't add to my notes. So give me a moment. We have a lot of things to cover, and let's see, here it is. Okay, lots of things to talk about. How y'all feeling tonight? You know, I'm not going to act like yesterday didn't happen with the elections, but I also don't talk a lot of politics. But I will tell you, okay, here we go. Here I am, I'm back. I will let you know that, okay, here we go, that I've had a lot of people contact me between 11 p.m.-ish last night and all the way up until now, because they are ready to go and they want to speed up their move abroad plans. I get it, okay? I know that people are very disappointed, or a large amount of people are disappointed, and a large amount of people are clearly happy and excited. So, as I said, I don't really talk politics. I just don't. But I can tell you that I know the feeling that a lot of you may have about wanting to leave, because that's how I felt years ago. And I'm happy and grateful that I am out for myself and my son. Many reasons why, but those were, some of the things that I really just couldn't stomach anymore. And, I don't want to sugarcoat that it is concerning, but I also feel like I understand that not everyone can get up and just make a plan and just get going. But I do think you can start on a plan. I do think that it's possible to make moves, make changes, and start on a plan. So in saying that, there's several things that I want to discuss, because I do have my in-person relocation tour that I offer already. I've had quite a few people in these past months who have come through, quite a few that came full suitcases and everything. You met a few of them on my YouTube channel or live quite a few weeks ago. But there are also quite a few people who are just kind of not sure. They're on the fence, or they went back and they're now here. Like one arrived today. She was here in September and she did the tour, and she returned today to get her temporary setup and all the things. So I just want to say, one, congratulations to all of those individuals that are making those moves, making those changes in their lives, because that's what they want, right? I'm not here to twist anyone's arm if that's not what you want to do. But if you do want to, I am here to help with that process. And that's what CasaELM is about. We do really create a soft landing for you. And just know this, that it's amazing how much our community has grown, and people kind of come with, I need to know A, B, C, D off the top. But it's also important to understand yourself, your journey. I've talked about this a lot. There's no cookie cutter situation for each person. I realize that a lot of individuals have anxieties about where to start. It can be overwhelming. But if you don't start, and if you don't do anything, if you're not a self-starter in terms of like researching and digging for information, that's what I'm here for. This is why I get on Wednesdays and I talk a lot about moving. I think 2 weeks ago I did immigration, all the different things. We ended up postponing our Move to Mexico conference because we did not have the enrollment that we would have liked to have had. Maybe we should have done it after yesterday or today. But, we're going to probably push it for next year. That's the intention. But I am personally still available for a lot of things in regard to that, including consultations. So yes to all the individuals who already reached out and already contacted me regarding these things. And I want to just kind of talk through some of those things. But before I get into that part a little deeper, I want to say that we do have Thanksgiving week here at Casa. One more space is still available if you just want to spend Thanksgiving with us. You can find information at this link. Yeah, we have one space left, so that's good. I think it's a great way to, spend the holiday if you don't want to spend it in the US. I think coming down to Mexico for a whole week, it entails a full week of cool, fun things to do. We're going to have brunch that will be prepared by Chef Jackie. Everything will happen, well, that will happen here at CasaELM. We're also going to have a vineyard excursion, which won't happen at CasaELM. We're going to do Thanksgiving actual dinner. It will be a sit-down, not necessarily formal, more like family style, and it includes like ground transportation and all the things. So if you go to that link, you can find more information about that. And again, we have one spot left, okay? So if that sounds interesting to you, check out, ways to get here. The airport information is going to be, I believe it's at the link. If it's not, I'm just going to put it right here for you. Airports into San Miguel are going to be QRO for Querétaro and BJX for León, okay? So, and that's going to be for anything that I'm talking about that requires you to travel to San Miguel, okay? So there's that. And I also wanted to talk to you about our Black Blossom Retreat, which I have been talking about. I was on live on our channel with my co-host Tracy Collins, well, I believe it was yesterday. And we were also on, I believe it was about a week ago, on our channels, I say that plurally, and we had 4 spaces, now we have 2, so there's still two spaces left, and the retreat is going to be next year in March the 25th through the 30th. So if this sounds interesting to you, it's going to be really beautiful. It's in Oaxaca. It's going to be in Oaxaca on the beach, and here is the link. We actually have a 10% off for this whole month. So it's a whole month of Black Friday, 10% off, and you just need to get in there and see the info. Get, hold on a second, I'm trying to see if I can just pull up something and get you the code also. I think it's on the link, but in case if it is not, I will type it here, okay? So if you go in, you just need to apply this code. Let's see, Black Blossom. This is to get 10% discount. It's called Black Friday. Real easy, right? When you get to checkout, okay? And then it will take 10% off of the cost, the total. It's a good way to get in, and you can still qualify to use the payment plan or payment option as well, okay? And also that we have a group as well, so I'm going to share our Travel and Talk community, which you can also join, and for anyone who's taking the actual trip, we'll get a free membership to that community and group, which will be a great place to just have a more intimate setting. But in addition to that, you will also be able to get the offers before other people get it. And join our Facebook and YouTube channels. I'm going to drop that. Sorry, I have to do housekeeping, so hang in, hang tight. Got a lot to talk about tonight. And there you go. Okay, so that's all Black Blossom things. Again, I'm co-hosting with Tracy Collins. Okay. And ¿qué más? Okay, the other thing. So because of everything that happened this week, right, so far, it's only Wednesday. I also, like I said, I was contacted by quite a few people regarding leaving, and some people don't want to wait until an in-person tour happens and all the things. So I've decided that this week, Sunday, I will do a live webinar, and it's going to be a relocation coaching session for about an hour and a half. It's not for free, okay? But it's definitely less than my consultations because I'm looking at it from a group standpoint. What I want to say is It's going to be an initial introduction to the steps that are super important for anyone who really is serious and ready to buckle down. And this is for all the individuals who contacted me. Thank you for reaching out. I really appreciate that you trust in me for this journey. CasaELM is not just a soft landing. It's not just community connection / building location. It is really a space where people can make friends and connect for different things and reasons, even if it's just, I just wanted to be a part of this event, and then you end up leaving with, knowing many people that okay, I just got to turn that off. Many people that you may not have expected to walk away and know. Whether you're visiting, relocation tour, like I can tell you, since this year started, there have been so many amazing individuals, I want to say women, because mostly women, that have come through and that have really and truly flourished. They have connected with people. They've gone home, got their approvals for their temporary residency, their permanent residency, whatever, and they came back and, they're thriving and they're doing their thing. I'm not just saying this to just say it. It is actually what is happening. It is what people are doing. They're making moves. And I'll tell you why that it's successful, because there was a plan, there is a plan, and you have to have a plan. So this session that I'm going to have on Sunday will be an introductory type thing where you can start thinking through this process and having a plan, okay? It is honestly not smart to just compulsively go with whims and emotions and buy plane tickets and pack suitcases and, oh, I'm coming to Mexico. I honestly feel that the most successful things and people that I've seen are those that really sat down and thought things through just a little bit more. Now, does it mean it can't work that way? No, you can do it that way as well. But I think you just need to, again, and I say this all the time, know yourself, know your situation, know your tolerance level. I honestly really push for you to learn the language as much as you can, whether you learn it wherever you are right now, and when you get here, you make those intentional steps to learn as much as possible, because there's so many things that can be your pit or downfall, okay? It is imperative, I think, for you to sit down and think things through a little bit. So I want to just say that I'm going to have on this Sunday morning, I'm going to, and I know that there are other people on at that time, but this is what works for my schedule, okay? So you can watch me on the replay, or you can join, you can't watch me on the replay because I'm not going to be on my channel. It's going to be a Zoom webinar for those individuals who are paying to sign up, and I'm going to tell you that you'll need to bring a notebook, and it's going to have like some key steps and things, and then we will have another thing behind that will be a little bit longer, but it's going to be focused on the things you really need to know for those who cannot physically come right now, okay, to San Miguel or to Mexico. It's going to be kind of like a consolidated move in the direction of the virtual conference that we wanted to have. So I just feel like it's important for people to understand that you need a plan, and I know emotions are high right now. I understand that aspect as well, but I want to make sure that you're set up for success, okay? And in all of this, you're connected to the resources. So consider it kind of like a group setting where you can start your journey virtually with me. I have experience, okay? This is not just me, rambling on. I've been doing relocation for literally since 2020, okay? I relocated myself over 6 years ago. and I had none of these resources. However, I made a lot of mistakes, and through those mistakes, I've been able to build a place for you to get connected, to understand, and clearly, my own personal journeys and now the journeys of so many other individuals. And I just want to make sure that if you're serious about this, moving to Mexico, I can assist you with that. That is really my key focus here in CasaELM, in addition to loving on all the people that come through, okay? So I'm gonna drop the link for that as well, and then we'll get started on tonight's topic. Okay, this is going to be this coming Sunday. Remember the time change, okay? Hi, Dahlia. How are you? Welcome. Yeah, Dahlia is one of our newbies. It's her first day. I miss you. I really miss her. She has been here since the end of September. And it's her third trip in the last year because she made a plan. And although she bumped her plans up a little bit, she definitely made a plan. She did my relocation tour last year, September, came back and got her residency earlier this year, and came back to do the in transition. So I want to also point that out, that CasaELM is also available for you to stay when you're looking to move into your new place. I've had many of people who've done that. I think some people don't know they can do that. And you can also stay here probably up to 2 months if you just are in town and you want a place to be. And if that's the case, send us an email because we can probably work something out differently than paying by the night, okay? Fairly to me and the space. So having said all of that, I'm sure that spirits are all over the place right now in terms of yesterday's results and things like that. Again, I'm going to emphasize I'm not here for that. And I also want to say, if you're in and viewing this, please say something in the chat besides Dahlia. I know I'm an hour earlier because of the time change, but it's still 6 o'clock for me, okay? That's when I start all the time. So I'll be sure next week to, have my person who helps me out with social media to put the times in place so people can be updated now, since it's that time of year where times have changed. Okay, so let me know what's happening with you. Let me know what's new. And I also want to say, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. If you come here all the time and you haven't done that, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. If you don't like it, don't hit the dislike button because I can't see it anyway, okay? Just saying. But tonight I want to talk a little bit more about having a business in Mexico, but why having a business in Mexico might be a way for you to exit and move on if you want to move on and out of the United States. I will say that here in San Miguel, the potential for someone to be creative is unlimited, in my opinion. Yes, there are ways to earn and do remote work, and that's an option if that works for you, depending what your career is. Starting a business is going to be a little bit of a challenge because of so many factors that people don't know exist. And I'm going to be speaking from the brick and mortar standpoint, okay? I just want to clarify that. I am not a digital person in this regard. I have done consultations and I do this, but I have a physical location, which is where I am, CasaELM, and this location basically is where I live, and it's where I operate and function out of in terms of having a business in Mexico. Now, I'll just tell you this, it can be challenging, but I can say that it's not as challenging as I thought it would be. I think I created like this fear to really put myself out there, and it was because I didn't feel like I could maneuver in and out with the paperwork and all the things. But this is where you get help. So I'm going to talk about that tonight. I want to talk a little bit about the things and why it's important for you to make the connections in the places that you need to. And also some things that have come up that have been challenging that you also should know about. And I'm still learning a lot. Okay, a lot, lot. But what I found works best for me is asking a lot of questions. Every now and then, showing up a little spicy because it's necessary. Because things are just kind of like, they're not really like laid back necessarily, but they're not, to me, they're not as formal, right? Because when I did my businesses in the United States, one, I spoke the language. Two, it was easier to get online and set up an FEIN number, set up a bank account, set up a whatever. And here it's just kind of like, okay, last year I needed this. 5 years ago, I didn't need an RFC. 5 years ago, I didn't need a residency to open a bank account, and now I do. 6 years ago, I didn't need to take, a blood test for my driver's license, and now I have to renew, and now I have to do that. And, so things are always constantly changing, and it's like, how do you get that information? You don't. You find out when you get to the place, which is also in a different location. And when you get there, it's like, oh, there are these whole new set of requirements and things like this. So coming with the intention of going with the flow is very essential. And same with doing a business. I just want to say that it can be overwhelming and a little frustrating, but I think if you kind of adopt the approach culturally here, which is kind of don't, definitely do what you're supposed to do, but don't get too bent out of shape about it because it will eventually come together. And that's the part where I've had to learn to just kind of kick back a little bit because sometimes I want things, I'm reactive. Not reactive. I am someone who does things before it's a problem, right? I'm not just like waiting for, oh, okay, I didn't know. Okay, let me fix that. No, I'm always like, okay, what are the steps? What do I need to do? I want to know, and I want to fix all these things, So before I move forward, I'll say greetings. Hi, Kevin. How are you? Welcome. And you're in Dallas, okay. Hi, Daphne. I miss you too. Daphne was here, and yes, I miss all my guests, okay. I didn't talk about the meetup because I wasn't here last week, okay. I did in the video. If you didn't catch that, feel free to see my pre-recorded video because last week was my birthday. It went by so fast, I forgot about it. Mocha Music, welcome. My pleasure. Hi, Karen. How are you? I got to get back to you. Hi, Anita and family. Yes, all the family here. Don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hi, Veronica. Hey. Okay, I got all my way back, not all, a lot of my way back friends from the US. I know how you're feeling. I got calls today. I get it. Feel free to chat about it in the live here if you want to address anything or you just want to say something. Like I said, I'm not big on politics, but yeah, I understand. So feel free to say what you need to say right here. Talk to each other. So with the business part, the business things, I want to encourage people that may want to have a business to give it heavy thought, right? You still have to start out, though, on the right foot, okay? I just want to say that you have to start on the right foot. And that right foot is you got to get your residency. Okay, so going back to what I was saying earlier, for those who may not have caught it, if you scroll up, I'm going to have a session on Sunday that will be a virtual relocation coaching session for anyone who wants to start the process and learn more how to, because if you don't have those things, you can't have a business in Mexico. Okay, meaning a brick and mortar. You need to have your residency, period. Okay, so tonight is sort of like skipping over the residency and having a place and all the things, but I'll go through the steps of what you need if you want to do a brick and mortar. I want to say that there are ways to start something, for example, you can start maybe in your home, depending on how your home is set up. You could possibly rent a space from someone who has places for rent, who already have some of the requirements for that specific building or that specific location. Okay, so I don't want to fully discourage you. Like, if you're not sure, do I really want to do this? You don't want to jump in and run out and say, okay, I'm going to get my uso de suelo, right, which is a permit for use of the land. And if you're not sure if this is going to work for you. So there are some ways kind of to go around things. There's businesses here by many, an absorbent amount of locals, clearly. I think that it's just one of those places where entrepreneurship is how people survive, right? They're working, they're selling their things. And a lot of the places, you can, for example, let me give you a grand example. There are a lot of markets. You can get a table at one of the markets and set up and sell your things without doing all that other stuff. And I'm going to get into all the other stuff. And it costs about $3, maybe $5 maximum for you to be out there with your table. You just got to go to the right people. You got to get permission. You pay them because they've already paid for that to happen on that day at that time. So they allow the community to come in and get a table. For example, there's Chef Jackie in the local community, and I don't know her details and her personal things, but I know that she has a table at the Saturday market here in Los Frailes, and she sells her yummy food. I don't know what else she may have had or not had to do, but I'm just saying there are a lot of people who do that type of thing. They sell their arts and crafts, and they sell their art, they sell their jewelry, they sell their incense, they sell their things, they sell food, whatever that is. Okay, if you want to buy some tank tops and embroider and put your spin on it, buy some hats and hand paint them and sell them, and people buy the stuff, right? They will definitely buy food, especially if you're cooking some ethnic things, because it's hard to come by here. And I say ethnic outside of Mexican cuisine. Maybe there's food from your country. Like for me, it's Jamaican food. Maybe there's food from other places that people don't know about and they want to try it. It's a great opportunity to expand and be creative. So that's a way to get started and say, maybe one day I'm going to have a space. If you're an artist, you can, be a part of exhibits or sell your art online, things like this. Okay. So I want to say that it's a space or a city and an area in the world that you can really be creative and start a business. But then if you want to have an actual physical brick and mortar, let's say you want to open a Pilates studio, you want to open a yoga studio, or you want to do hair, because please somebody come down and do hair, por favor. So if that's the case, there are ways that you can do that and get started. Maybe you rent a chair, right? I mean, that's common. Or maybe you get your own place. And I'll say that the reason why I think it's really good here is because it's easier. It's just knowing what do you need to do to qualify for the things you need to get. And to get your permit or permission. A lot of the times people just don't do those things and they get into deeper issues because they didn't take the time to look into it. And it's easy to kind of get lost and stuck at times because sometimes you may think, oh, I'll ask this person, and that person may say, oh, I know how to do that, and they really don't. So I think it's imperative that you connect online with the right individuals, you ask the right questions, you get into the right groups. Like I just joined a group that is entrepreneurs in San Miguel, but they are mostly all Mexicans. Those are the connections you need, okay? There's going to be someone in the group possibly that speaks enough English, and you just have to learn a little more of the language to make it. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to have a business, it's really important that you can communicate. My Spanish isn't grand, but I get a big fat headache when I sit for about an hour or two with my accountant, who is amazing, and she also speaks a little English, but she just goes on and on, blah, 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 and I'm like, I know what she's saying, and if I don't understand something, I'll tell her. I'm like, no entiendo. So the point is, there's going to be that challenge, okay? And before I'm going to get into the list in a moment, I just wanted to say welcome to Anita. I did already. Yes, I did. I saw that. Veronica, hey, how are you, sis? And I don't have a biological sis, but these are my sisters. Janine, welcome. Hi. Hi, Monica. Good evening. I live in CB and Scope chooses summer. So you get help and have a direction. Yes, it does help to get help. It helps for so many things. Again, if you like a challenge, go for it. But honestly, it helps to get help, and it also helps to get connected with the local community. And I know I've said that plenty of times, okay? So what I wanted to talk today about is some of the coaching steps for you to have a business in Mexico. And if this is something you're really thinking about doing, feel free to drop something in the chat about that. But my journey has been very interesting because when I started, I didn't have a ton of time I knew what I wanted to do. I already have owning a business experience. I've done kind of something similar in the past with, having guests. I have a lot of experience in that aspect. I love cooking, I love entertaining, and I also love traveling. So I have been able to kind of combine all of these things when I saw the need for this to be a little bit more niched down. It's like, well, what is my offer? And what the offer turned into being was, all right, people are already contacting me for coaching, and I'm going to do now an actual in-person tour. I'm just telling you the journey. And so I hit the ground running because I thought, well, I could either spend a whole lot of money renting someone else's space, or, like I had spoken to a guy who had a guest house, and I said, or I can get my own place and make it what it needs to be for my things. And I felt more confident with that. But I can't say that I had a grand master plan where I sat down for 6 months and mapped it all out and all the things, okay? And this is why I think it's great to listen as much as you can. If you're in tune with your own intuition, it's great to listen to that, but also to sit quietly with your thoughts and your ideas. Now, will you have moments of panic and fear? Yes, absolutely. That's what makes it greater. So I had a lot of those, but I didn't have a lot of time to focus on it because when I found this place, I just jumped right in. And I knew at that point I already had a setup. I had people who were already coming, and I was supposed to put them in some other place. And I said, no, we're going to do it. I'm going to get this place ready. And for those who have followed me, you know the story. I came in, there was nothing here, and we hit the ground running, okay? I mean, really hit the ground running. So in saying that, once it was kind of like, okay, I'm done, what do I do next? That's where I got stuck because I wasn't really sure who to go to. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what I needed. And it was really not easy to find the right person to talk to because I was advised by someone, oh, you need an accountant, which you do, okay, and I have that. Oh, you need an attorney, but what type? Right? A business attorney, real estate attorney, like what kind? So I went to an attorney that I knew personally, and he was very nonchalant about what I should do next. I remember I showed up and I had all my papers, and this was maybe like 4 weeks, maybe no more than that, after I kind of was like, okay, I'm opening the doors, right? And I was like, well, what do I need to do? And the advice was very vague and, and I said, okay, well, beyond that advice, what do I need to do? And I remember asking several people, and it was really difficult to get a straight answer. And, then some of the individuals that I reached out to and asked questions, they were like, fairmongers for me. It's like, oh, and you're not doing it right. And I'm like, okay, if you're telling me I'm not doing it right, then what do I need to do it right? So the point of saying that is, once again, I have the experience, I have done it, I'm here, I'm doing it. I did finally have like a consultation with Suki, which I'll tell you, she was grand. And that was in, she's in Oaxaca. She also has a similar type business to mine. And she really had the experience, and that's what I needed, and she kind of gave me the direction on how I should move forward. She gave me input on how to do my taxes, and it should be a homestead and things like this. It was super helpful. So I wanted to just kind of like talk about why it's essential to find help, get help, because you don't want to invest a lot of time, effort, and money into things and then have to like fight your way out of a legal issue or a legal problem, right? The city wants their money too. They want to get paid their taxes. They want you to have a permit. They also want to make sure if it's a space where people are entering and eating or sleeping or anything like this, that it's safe, right? And this makes them also partly liable for the safety of those individuals that are going into your space, okay? So you can't really do all of these things unless you have a residency, okay? So unless you partner with someone that you trust who's Mexican and has these things or is able to get them, which I don't really recommend, unless it's like a partner, like, I don't know, somebody that you're with. That this is just me saying, that this is how I operate. A lot of things could go wrong there as well. So I think it's imperative for you to understand that it's important to make and do the right steps, but also follow the make the connections that you need to in the community. So I didn't get the best advice from this person, but I said, okay, I'm just going to keep pushing through. And I connected with an accountant who also just kind of was like, like, this is what you got to do. You got to get an RFC, and then it's like, when they start telling you all these like, oh, and it costs this, and the fees that will be imposed, not fees from anything that you did wrong, but their cost and their fees, I always get a little bit leery because I want to know, what do I have to do? Tell me what I need to do, and then I can at least then understand and justify what your cost is, right? So let me know so I can understand that part. And it's kind of difficult if you don't speak great Spanish to kind of understand that this part of the tax here is up to, I think it's 26%, right? And you pay every month. for a business. You pay monthly, not quarterly, not annually. So that's something to think about. And you can deduct a lot of things, but then you need what they call a factura and all the things that follow it. So I'm going to kind of go down really quick down the steps, but I want to just kind of emphasize that it's imperative that you get help, okay? Whether it's, if you want to get help on my personal like steps and process, I can do a consultation with you if you want to really have a brick and mortar, or if you just are like, okay, I'm already starting this, now I need, help in ABC, whatever those positions are for you, that these are the things that you don't want to skip, okay? Again, back to getting your residency, establishing yourself in that place, okay? Maybe partnering with someone. I know plenty of people who have been investors in projects here in Mexico over the past 20 years, and they've worked out fine, okay? So the first thing that I feel that you should do is you got to get your residency clearly. You need to open a Mexican bank account. Yeah, you can't do that any longer unless you have some form of residency. To my knowledge, there may be some banks that do it, but a lot of the banks are requiring that you have residency and your passport. That makes sense to me, right? Because if you're in the United States, I don't think you can open a bank account without having a social security number and residency, right? I don't know, maybe you can. But you have to have some form of, I live here, and this is why I'm opening a bank account, which is interesting because that also changed. When I moved here in 2018, I didn't have residency yet, and I was able to open my bank account with Cibanco. And I don't think they do this anymore on my tourist visa. And I just had a passport and I was able to open it. And this was a referral that I got from my shipper, the guy who is Mexican, but he told me, oh, I deposit my checks from Americans or US citizens when they move. I put their checks into my bank account at Cibanco. And I thought that was amazing. I was like, oh, okay, great, let's do that. Now I believe that you have to have your residency here. I think that they've been audited and all the things, and they're just trying to make things right. Now, is this the case for all the banks? I don't know. There are lots of banks in Mexico, but I believe so. I believe that that's a change that has happened in the last 6 years, okay? But having a bank account is important if you have a brick and mortar, because you have to pay your taxes. Well, you don't have to pay it through a bank, but they want to see that, you have an account. It helps you kind of move forward with the other steps. And then the next thing you have to do is you got to get ID, tax ID, which is RFC. Now, RFC is applicable to people, right? Kind of like a social security number, but it's not a social security number because there's a CURP number that comes with you getting your residency, and that's more like a social security number. It's not used the same way like it is in the United States. I have it, but I haven't really used it much. It's not required, but your RFC is going to be required for your business. Now, you can also get an RFC if you just want to get one, right? You can go and get it, and it's free, okay? It's getting the appointment part that you might, if you don't speak Spanish, you might need help with, unless you just really just want to push through. It's not hard, but you got to go online, you sign up for an appointment, and then they send you an email, and in that email, it gives you a code, and then you go back and you enter the code, and then it sends you a date, and then you have to confirm that you're going to be there, and then you print, and then when it sends you the letter that prints out that you're going to be there or that you accept this date, you print it out, and then you got to go to the SAT office. And at the SAT office, SAT, You're going to give them that paper and then you get your RFC. It doesn't cost anything unless you have to pay someone to help you with that. Now, the RFC, to my understanding, is applicable to me as a person. For example, I think if you're selling or buying a home, that you need an RFC, right? If you are paying people, for example, if you said, you know what, I want to register myself and that I'm paying my housekeeper and I want to pay into the Social Security system that they have for them, so later on in life they can receive some, financial assistance for the years that they work, then you need an RFC, okay? And that could be just for you, your personal things. If you have your RSC and then you become a business, then they have to change the categorize you as somebody who has a business, okay? So that's essential and important for you to have, for you to move forward and do the other things, because that's the number that you're going to use to pay your taxes, right? Let's see. What are the legal filings? There's so many things attached to getting a uso de suelo. If that's something you need. Now, if you're, for example, let's say you were getting a space in a plaza, a shopping plaza, more than likely the owner of that plaza already has a uso de suelo. Is going to not be for individual businesses, it's going to be for the plaza. So I believe that you then don't have to get that. Here in San Miguel, it's changed again. When I first started doing this, it was like around 500 US, and now it's like 2,500 US. It went that much. It did a big jump. And then there are places like other parts of Mexico, which I'm sure are a lot less. I know someone in Oaxaca that told me theirs was like literally about $100 a year. And I just think it's crazy because there's no consistency with that, but it is what it is. And if you want to do what you're doing and be legal with it so you don't have any issues, just keeping those things in mind and cost. So those are like the legal things. There are a lot of paperwork pieces that are involved. For example, civil protection wants to know that your place is on the up and up. You're going to need extinguishers and signs and all the things that kind of like like for my case, like a mini hotel, right? You have to have those things in place. There's some things they don't require that I think they should. For example, I feel like everyone who has an Airbnb should have a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector, period. End of story. That's my opinion. Don't get mad, but I really feel like that's something that should be present, and even in office space or any kind of space where people are coming and going, especially if they're sleeping in your house. We've heard those stories, and I just think it's not worth someone's life over a $50 piece of equipment. It's just not cool. So they don't quite require that, but it's a plus if you have it. We do. Let's see. Ins and out of, so banking and earning here and earning dollars and pesos. So it can be a little tricky. It can be a little bit tricky because there's like am I getting paid over there or am I getting paid here? And because I'm getting paid over there, it's like this tricky kind of like gray area of, how much tax do I pay so that I'm not paying double taxes? Those are the things that someone locally has to really kind of walk you through the steps so that it makes sense, having really good bookkeeping and accounting, which I have struggled with because that's just not my strong point, but I have someone now who is doing all of that stuff for me. And it's essential that you get the help once again, because those are the things that can really become overwhelming and kind of swallow you up little chunks at a time, and you'll be like, ah, help me. So it's just something that I really feel like it's important for you to understand. You know, if you're earning US monies, you want to make sure that, you're reporting what your earnings are and things like that. And then you keep all the receipts. I keep all of my like ATM withdrawals and stuff because I pay a lot of people in cash. And I'm going to talk about that aspect as well too. Challenging. Okay. Hi, Jetta. Hi, Lorraine. How are you? Hi. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so let's get back to my little mini list. I'm just kind of covering stuff now. I do offer a consultation for business that will be way more in depth than this, but you can see there's a lot to know. So the ins and out in terms of banking and earning US and pesos. So I don't earn pesos, right? But if I were on platforms, and I'm giving you my examples, if I were on platforms such as Airbnb, Booking, and all that, then maybe I would be earning, some pesos there if it were going into like directly into a local account. So those are things that you need to think about, right? You need to consider, am I bringing all my income into this place or that place? How do I do this, right? The right way to do it would be, if it's a physical thing here, is to bring it all in. If you're earning pesos, let's say you have Airbnb and your Airbnb is earning pesos, you want to make sure that you're bringing that in to Mexico, right? Because they want their money. They want to get paid on their taxes. So it can be a little intricate, and sometimes it can be confusing because I feel, depending on who I talk to, the information may be really clear, or there's going to be a lot of gray areas. And that's where you really have to be tenacious and keep asking questions. And I'm going to tell you, no matter how much advice you get and seek out, you're probably still going to make mistakes, okay? It just happens, and I'm realizing that more and more. And also I'm realizing that, making kind of assumptions about things and how they work doesn't work out, okay? No, this is not a giant cup of wine. I just poured a whole bunch of water in this much wine because I'm thirsty, so. Yeah, I didn't want the bottle to crinkle, but it's actually really dry here compared to last year at this time. It just feels super dry. So what I also wanted to say is some of the challenges, okay? I'm going to be real brief about it, but when you hire people in and from Mexico and you're in Mexico, you have a business in Mexico, it is really important to have contracts. It doesn't matter what they do, okay? I am learning these things, and I'm going to tell you that someone told me about this, but in the case of someone doing work from a virtual standpoint, even that person, if you find them online, on Fiverr, Upwork, or any of these places, get a contract, because if they're just working for you remote and virtually, they can still come back at you and try to demand something. Like, let's say you just got them for a project, or let's say that you are working with them virtually, they're a freelancer, and they can come back and say, oh, I'm not a freelancer any longer because you no longer need me, and now I can sue you for more money, right? It's unfortunate, but this is what happens here. And, these are the things that I'm learning, and it's unfortunate because I feel like it's, you feel taken advantage of in some ways, but at the same time, I always look at everything as there's a lesson in there that is, okay, you know what? This is not going to happen again, and these are my rights, and this is what I'm entitled to as well as a person who's a permanent resident or a temporary resident or whatever the case might be. And what I'm finding with Mexico, it always is just about like this whole okay, let's negotiate through this, or I'm not going to help you because I don't want to fight for my right or your rights. I just want to, let's make this. Let me earn some money. Let's do a easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and let's keep it moving. Okay. So what I want to say is that it's also really important as a business owner, even if you are not a business owner and you just have someone coming to clean for you, you need to have a contract with that 1 day a week person, a half a day, 1 day a week person. It's imperative, because if you decide this isn't working out, right? Maybe they're stealing stuff, maybe they're doing something wrong. You need to have like all these steps in place to kind of cut ties with those people. And I've learned this, things that I'm like, well, I don't trust that person in my space. It's like, well, you got to do it this way. And no one's information is clear. And the people that are supposed to be on your side and helping you sometimes are only there to kind of gouge you as well. And these are the facts. People can watch this and get mad if they want to, but I'm telling you what the facts are. And the facts for me and my life, and these are the things that I have experienced. And I'm learning more and more about having businesses and ownership and all the things. But I can tell you this, that even in those moments, I still absolutely love living here, and that's the reason why I'm here to share these things with you, so that you're prepared in a different way, because those things can taint you, throw you off to a point where maybe, you're just disgusted and like, but, coming from where we come from, we want to operate in the way that we're used to operating. But I want you to understand that there are steps and things that you need to know and do to make sure you don't have those challenges as well. Make sure you get an accountant. Okay, an accountant is not an attorney, and vice versa, as we all know. Accountants here, they're going to be used to filing your things for you every month. They're going to tell you what you need to do. They're going to tell you how they can save you money. And they're going to, if you got a good one, they're going to go and take care of stuff. Like my accountant is really working hard to get so many things done. I have one full-time person that, she helped me set them up in a way of, they're my person. So I'm paying into the system for them. And later on down the line, this person will be able to get benefits from working for me and vice versa. So we're both protected, but at the same time, there's clarity, contracts, all the things, okay? It's like serious business. And I just want you all to know, because I know coming from the United States, maybe someone that's like in this position, a housekeeper, kind of like level, even though I do consider my person above just housekeeping, because she does a lot of things for me, and I want to compensate her that way, and I want to recognize that. But I want to say that it's important to make sure that you're also protecting yourself. And it's like you have to say all the details, you have to say how long they're working, what they're doing, and everyone's on the same page. And if it doesn't work out, like, this is what's going to happen, and it's like you have to pay them what they call liquidation, which would be kind of like a severance. You have to kind of like, set it up. And if you're working with someone virtually, you also need to do these same things, because you don't want that person to come back and say they work for you, right? You want to make sure you have a contract for that as well. So these things are really important. And it's important for you to understand like what works in your area, so that you have no like long-term stresses in regard to this. It's just important that you know these things, that you have that. And I think it's also important for you to understand that you need to build relationships, again, brick and mortar. Now, doesn't mean, they coming over and hanging out for dinner and you guys are going on vacation. No, it doesn't. It's best to keep it as professional as possible. My right-hand person is truly my right-hand person, but it's still important to kind of keep things as professional as possible and have like the divide and the separation, even if they're helping you on a personal level with things. I appreciate all of the work and all of the help, but at the same time, I think it's important to have a relationship where the understanding is, clear that you're still the person, that's in charge of the overall big picture of whatever it is. Whether, like I said, it's just your home and you just have a person cleaning your home, or you have multiple people coming. For example, here I need, a person that comes like at least once a week to do maintenance checks. That person probably is a maintenance person and doing all the things. But if I set up a schedule and a time and things like that, then it's important that there's kind of like something stating exactly what they're doing, exactly what the relationship is, all the things, okay? And it's important that you build relationships with people around you so that you can get the help and advice when you don't know something. You have to ask the questions. You have to make sure that they know what they're talking about. And if you feel like that wasn't really clear, ask more questions, okay? It's important. So I'm going to take a quick, hey, Carol, welcome. I just want to say that and ask you again to hit the like button, please, please, please. And I also wanted to say one other thing in regard to doing a business. Now, obtaining a space, how do you go about doing that? That's on you. Are you renting a space? Are you buying a space? Then the requirements might be a little different if you're going into like a commercial plaza or even someone's house where, they're like, okay, I have this little spot for rent. You can also do a business. I don't think it doesn't have to always be commercially zoned. Like I know in the US, those laws are a little bit more stringent, but what you need is full permission from the person who owns the property, okay? Because when and if you need to get the legal paperwork and the legal things, they also have to sign off on that as well, So there's like a slew of things, if you own the space, it's gonna be a slew of things anyway. And if you don't, you just need to understand that you don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna sneak and do this and I'm not gonna say anything. No, you don't want to operate like that. You don't want to operate in the shadows, because chances are there might be someone on your street or in your area that is gonna try to cause some problems for you, which we already talked about in the previous video, if you remember that. Do you follow me? Did you remember that? So I feel like those are really the bigger crucial steps. Do you need to have all the things changed over into your name if you're renting? No, but you definitely need to show utility bills for a lot of things. I find that excessively interesting that I have to show a utility bill to get residency, potentially. What else do you need? A utility bill to start up an internet account. Like if you have to get internet, you have to show a utility bill. If you want to open a bank account, you have to show a utility bill. It doesn't have to be in your name, but it needs to be from the address of where you're claiming you live needs to be there, because I think they assume if you have access to that bill that you live there, right? Which kind of makes sense, but it feels kind of weird to me. I'm still not used to it. It feels kind of weird to me that this is what they are asking me for. But they won't accept my Mexican driver's license when I go to the bank to withdraw money. But I can open a bank account and show the utility bill. So I don't know, make it make sense. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. These are like really important, crucial steps. If you needed to have more of a one-on-one, you're welcome to book a consultation with me for opening a business, I do have at michellewedderburn.com, there is a downloadable checklist that you can get that gives you kind of some of the steps and things. But these are the things that I want to just kind of emphasize. You need to have your bank account, you need to have an RFC. Prior to doing all of that, you need to have a residency, or you need to find someone that you trust to partner with if you don't have a residency. Someone joked recently, and I'm not sure that she was fully joking, but she was saying that she wanted to marry someone locally so she can get her residency. So, I'm just saying, like, residency is necessary for you to have a location here. If you're doing online business, that's not my arena, and or product, service, or whatever it is, that is something that you can do clearly. You don't have to necessarily have all of these things. But if you want to open a location, and I'm just listing things, you want to be an art gallery, Airbnb, have a guest house space, host people, nail salon, hairdresser, I'm listing all the things that I need. You need to know these steps. It's important for you to understand starting here, starting right. It takes longer, it's a slower process. I mean, crazy stuff happens. Like last year when I was going to file again, they actually halted, like I had deposited this big chunk of money directly into the bank, and then they halted the process, and I panicked because I was just like, all I have is like a little paper receipt that says I deposited, and it was just like, I went to their bank and it's like deposited into this account. This the municipal blah blah blah, and I was like, that's it. Like, I have no permit, no paperwork, no application. And I was working with my attorney, and that's what he told me to do. And I was very uncomfortable with that, okay? And it was like, don't lose your receipt. So I took a picture of it, but it's like, we need the original. And it's like on that paper that fades, like not quite fax paper, but similar, where the ink starts to kind of like slowly disappear. It's like Harry Potter, And so it just was really nerve-wracking. And then it's like 1, 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's happening? Because again, I'm at my high, my foreigner expectation high, like what's happening, what's going on. And he was just like, well, and he sends me a link. Well, they fired everyone in that office and their whole new administration, so this is going to take longer than. And I was just like, so everyone got fired and things stopped functioning with my money. So the point is I have learned to chill the F out, okay? Yeah, I just was like, and it was a lot of months. It took a long time. It felt like it took a year. It was like, and it's like, oh, well, don't worry about it. If you want to stay home and you want to worry, then you can go ahead. And I was like, it's not about the worrying. I just don't want to have any more issues, right? And I don't want to, it's hard to explain myself in Spanish if someone is like asking me, well, did you do this and that? Anyway, I felt really good when all the things cleared and the things happened, okay? So I want to give you the encouragement that they will, as long as you're actually actively trying to fix and do and educate yourself. Get the help, like I said, and that was one of the things that my attorney kept saying to me. He's like, at least you asked, at least you tried, at least you got the help, at least you asked the questions, because he said a lot of foreigners come and they just do stuff and then they end up getting into deep doo-doo because they didn't ask. They just assumed they could just get out there and start doing their thing. So don't do that, okay? First of all, respect the space that we live in. Again, we make mistakes. We may not know everything, but I hope that this is helpful to you. And again, if you need more help, you can go to my CasaELM page and you can get information there. You can find a lot of information here on my channel, again, hit the like button tonight, and you can also book a consultation for business. If you want to talk through that, I can give you a whole lot more information, but those are like kind of the top layers of things that you really need to know. Okay. What else? That's it. Birthday was great last week. I also honored my pops on November the 1st. So I kind of stayed quiet, but it was Dia de los Muertos, so it was very appropriate for me to have that day and time to just chill. The weekend before, as you already know in my recording, we had our October meetup, our first inaugural October meetup. I don't think I said hi to Jetta. Did I say hi to Jetta? I did. Hi, I think I did. And hi, KB. You're welcome. Welcome, welcome. Our meetup was amazing. Okay, can I just tell you, laughter, love, tears, and hugs, and even some singing. I mean, it was so beautiful. Okay, 10 beautiful women. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know where you guys are at. Maybe you're afraid to come hang out with us. I don't know. But it was just lovely. It was so beautiful. It went by so quickly. Friday night, we went, this was the 25th, Friday night, the 25th of October. We went to a rooftop in Central. I'm just going to give you a quick recap, then I'm going to go. It was beautiful, lovely dinner, beautiful sunset that we kind of caught on one side of the restaurant. All the ladies got to meet each other for the first time, and it was just instant synergy. It was just an amazing 3 days that went by so fast. And then on Saturday, we did a beautiful walking tour with Elisa, who is from San Miguel, 4th or 5th generation, and she's just so knowledgeable and fun, great energy. She just is a provider and wealth of info. I really enjoyed that. I've done walking tours, but they're all different. Everyone has a different story to tell. We got to see so many interesting things and learn so much. It was really beautiful, right? I had my 4 VIP ladies staying here, so we got to have breakfast in the morning and stay up late at night and talk, and they got to know each other even better. I mean, it was just beautiful, really beautiful. So I want to say thank you to those women. And last but not least, we did that. We did the tour, we had lunch, and then we went to a dessert place. And I know some of the ladies connected that night. This was the Saturday night. And then on Sunday, we had our all-white brunch. And that was just lovely. It was just such an amazing weekend. And I want to say thank you to those ladies for coming to San Miguel, getting on a plane. I know some of them are still here. I think one of them left today, some left the day after. Some are coming back, some are living here now. It was just beautiful, and I'm grateful and thankful to this whole idea of people coming and doing a short weekend meetup. So we will be doing it again in October of 2025. I will have the same exact setup, and again, you can go to CasaELM.com. If you haven't done that already, you're not subscribed, it's a good idea to do that, because you'll get all the emails of things that are happening here, what we're doing, what's coming, and just information about things that you can experience here in San Miguel. But it was beautiful. And yes, Jetta was one of my ladies. Hi. So make sure you check that out. And that's it. That's all I got for you tonight. Be back next weekend, next Wednesday. And I want to say this too. I'm not sure how I'm going to work this yet, but I will be traveling in December for quite a few weeks. So I'm going to try to show up, providing I have proper internet. So just kind of like hang tight with me during those, 2 months or so. It's less than 2 months, but it's going to be me kind of doing my thing. And then I'm going to go see my family and all the things. Okay. So I'm going to try to just like kick back and enjoy that. Plus I have some other projects that are also in the works. So stay tuned for that. Okay. All right. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I send you lots of love from San Miguel. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Ciao.